David.
I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do the review of Flamme Rouge. And if you haven't had a chance, please check out our combo video of the how to play and playthrough. So this is part of our project to do videos on the top 100 family games as ranked by Board Game Geek users. So as of November 2019, Flamme Rouge is in the 20 through 40 list.
Okay.
And it's behind us is a sample of the 20 through 40 top 100 family games. And if you check out our other videos, we've done all top 20, which you can check out in the channel. All right, so Flamme Rouge, Julie, you can go over the overview.
Alrighty, sir. It's a family game for 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes for ages 8 and up. Hand management, modular board, race, simulation, simultaneous action selection, and it's published by Stronghold Games.
Right, so Stronghold Games has the English rights. There's actually a lot of publishers that publish this game.
Oh, okay.
So what we do is we're going to give our list of 5 positive, negatives, and neutrals each. We usually don't look at each other's. And then we'll give our ranking using the 1 through 10 ranking list on Board Game Geek.
Yes.
So Julie will go first.
All right. Okay, it is easy to play. The pieces are kind of cool. The little dudes on the bicycles, kind of like them. I do, though, find this game to be kind of boring and repetitive. There's really not much variety in the decisions you're supposed to make. And sorry to the artist, but I did not like the art at all. I found it extremely unattractive. It just actually kind of turned me off for wanting to even play the game. But I still did, and, you know, it is what it is.
Right, so let's take a look at those pieces real quick here if you haven't seen it. So the object of the game is you can have a start and you can try to get to the finish. They're nice plastic pieces. The board is nice and thick.
Yep.
You know,
easy to put together.
Good production value there. So here's the art that Julie's talking about. So here's the roller, and you have sprinter, and you're going to play these cards and move your 2 cyclists. You'll be drawing 4 and picking 1 card, and then you can get exhausted. So I have a bunch of exhaustion here during the playthrough for my roller. And then you start out with a deck, and you'll see over here I played this many cards from my... so you can see this is the sprinter, the one that's more upright, and the roller is more hunched down. And you got to look at the colors of the shirts to see who is which player. So blue is for blue, obviously, and red is for the red player, which was me. So you're going to have different values, and those values is going to help you move through so many spaces. And again, it's a race game. And there's, you know, it is somewhat of a simulation because you're going to have slipstreaming. If I moved this far and I was 1 space away from any, it could even be blue, you'll move 1 space for free. So you can, if you can, try to plan that and try to get additional moves by being 1 space away. So let's take a look at my rankings now. All right, so interesting mechanics. I mean, it is interesting that it simulates slipstreaming, which I just went over. The idea that you're going to be in the rightmost lane, because that's what they do in cycling. But for me, it seems samey and too long. For what it is, you know, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. You could either save your high cards or play them early and get exhaustion. So we've played this now 4 times. I've basically, unless I see somebody else play this game, at least in a 2-player game, it's better to save your high cards to the end and then move ahead in order to avoid exhaustion. But if Julie races ahead, then I might try to race ahead to match her. But because I really don't have idea what card she's going to draw, there's not much planning I can do. It's pretty much like, okay, I hope I can get a slipstream effect, or I hope I can get behind her and not get exhausted, because if you're ahead, so I'll just right here, if I'm behind her, she's going to get the exhaustion card. If we're side by side, we both get exhaustion. So the idea of, actually I'm going the wrong way, the idea of being able to plan that, it's so random though, because I don't know when I draw my 4, right, the 4 that I get, well, I got all exhaustion, that was a bad draw, but because it was towards the end of the game. I had that many exhaustion. Okay, so I draw this, right? Well, I don't know if I'm going to get, because he gets up to a 7. I don't know if I'm going to get a 7, 4, 5, or 6. And so one, I have the luck of the draw. I don't know what 4 I'm going to get. And then I don't know what Julia's going to play. And then I have to worry about what is my sprinter going to get.
Right.
So it's so random to the point that there's a lack of control, which I just explained. And so, yeah, the art, I dislike this art so much, and the graphic design. So when you look at the graphic design, okay, you have your R's right here in the corner, okay? And then S, because it's supposed to match right here on the board. But then, so I have to, and then you have the background color, and you have to look carefully. So you got to get used to this, that R and S and the way they're hunched over. But then when you flip it over, okay, let me get a card that's, then you got to look at the bottom. Okay, that's where the S's are, and that's where the R's are, and you look up here. I just would like the information always in the same space. I don't care if it's in the same corners all the time. It could say 3R or whatever, but I got to look here or here.
Yeah.
And I got to look, and then looking at their shirts. It's just, when you play it the first time, it takes a little while to get used to it. It's not so...
Cut and dry?
Yeah, it's... I guess the word I'm going for, it's... When it's easy to figure out something, you can figure it out. It's easy to navigate. It's easy to figure out. There's a certain word for it. It's not conducive. It's not. It will come to me in a minute. But yeah, the art, like I said, turned me off a lot. I didn't even want to really play it.
No, we didn't.
Looking at this, I think this part here, the board and the pieces are great.
Yeah.
But when I look at this, I'm going, ugh. That's just me, though, okay? And Julie feels the same way, though.
I did.
But I guess that's why we married each other, because we have similar tastes.
That's right.
All right, anyway, so let's look at my other things. So the rule book is clunky.
Oh.
Okay, so what I mean by that is, it's actually very simple
I
to
see
get
it's
through.
not very thick.
And again, this is how it came in the box. It got squished, okay? Because you're trying to make it look like a newspaper, which is fine. Why I say it's clunky? Because as I talk about in the playthrough, here it goes over the 3 phases. It says how to use your energy deck in one way. Okay. Then it talks about it here in one way. And then on the card, it's done a different way. So that's the most important part of the game, is managing your energy deck.
Sure.
And so and you're reading it, you're going, what are they saying here? Because consistency is a very important thing to do in rules or anything. In law, anytime you write instructions, procedure, it should be consistent.
I agree.
So that's why I'm saying it's clunky. So if you're a gamer, you're going to have no problem getting through this. You're just going to be annoyed like I was, all right? And you'll figure out how to play it. But if you're someone that hasn't read many rule books, you're going to be like, what are they trying to say here? And I think, Julie, you would have to go to a how to play video.
Oh, I definitely would have.
Because you'd be confused by the 3 different ways it says things.
Easy.
So, again, it's for a simple game, a family game, that shouldn't be happening. It should be so clear-cut and consistent.
Right.
So, again, just a warning to anybody that's not used to reading the rules, you might have a harder time for a simple game figuring out how to do this, because there's little things you got to do right. For instance, you're a player. When you move, you always have to be in the rightmost lane if you're the only one in that square.
Right.
And then how you do slipstreaming, and how do you how you do groupings and things like that. And then knowing of when you have cards face up. So how they explain face up on your deck, that was the hardest thing to figure out, and the way the rules were written. So again, you can get through it, you can figure it out.
Sure.
But for me, it's a negative, because it shouldn't have been that
so hard,
that annoying.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at our ratings. Our ratings are based on the Board Game Geek 1 through 10.
Right.
So here we go. So we both rated a 5.5, which means that we may end up eventually selling this out of our collection. When it gets down to below a 6, when we run out of space, we may be like, do we keep this game, or does it go into our trade at a convention, or or sell this? So this is on that border of, I don't know if we're going to keep this game.
I don't know. I'd be okay if you said, hey, we're going to sell it. I would have no problem with that.
So, and that's because we have other race games that do this better. Now, we're not cyclist enthusiasts.
No, and I think if you were, you might appreciate it more.
Yeah, I think you might
know?
enjoy this game more. And maybe we'd enjoy this game more with 3 or 4 players. We've only done this with 2 players. So when my
We'll have to
brother
try it.
comes here, he rides a lot. We'll play this with him and get his opinion and see, maybe we'll like this better with more players.
Maybe.
With a higher player count. And then
Right.
we'd move up the list. But then we wouldn't get to play it that often
No.
because we usually are playing
It's
games
usually the
as
two
2
of us.
players.
Right.
So, other race games that we'd rather play is Downforce.
Yeah, that's a fun
Downforce is on the top 100.
Yeah.
But it's not within the 20 to 40. It's actually going to be in the next
Really?
grouping. Downforce, I
Oh,
love Downforce.
Yeah, even my dad, when my
Yeah.
mom and dad were here last week, my dad loved
And the
it.
reason why I like Downforce better because you start out with your hand, you have your power, you know what you got, and
Yep.
it's cool that you move everybody's car
Yeah.
and you're planning ahead, and then you can bet on other cars, not even the cars you own. So there's
Exactly.
there's just a lot more going on there for such a simple game. That
Yeah.
You tend to have as the game plays, you have a little bit more control of what you want to try to do, and when you see the lay of the land, you're like, okay, I know my car's not going to win,
Yeah.
but I want to bet on Julia's car.
Yeah.
Whereas this game, you don't have that much control because she's going to play her cards, I'm going to play my cards. I don't know what 4 cards I'm going to get. I don't know what 4 cards she's going to get. And it's really random.
Yeah.
So unlike Downforce, yeah, there's some, but you start out with your deck.
Right.
And you know what you got for the whole
For the
race.
whole race.
And another game I'd rather play is Jamaica. I'd rather
Oh,
race
yeah,
pirates
that's a
around.
fun- yeah.
And we get to shoot cannons at each other.
Do we
and
get to do that in this? Is it in the top 100?
I don't know if it still is. It's been in and out of the top 100.
Oh, okay.
It's like 100 and something sometimes, like 104. Then it drops down. It's gone back and forth between
Has
90,
it?
yeah, between 90 something
Okay.
and 110.
Maybe by the time we get up that way, it'll be in the 90s.
I don't know, but
to
for a race
100s.
game, I'd rather play Downforce and Jamaica, and we have a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
ones I'd have to look at. But this is not the worst race game. There's other race games that we have that I'd rather sell before this one. There's a horse one that we have from Rio Grande
yeah.
that just takes way too long.
I remember. I don't remember playing it, but I remember seeing it in the box.
I think if we had to choose between Flamme Rouge and that horse one,
I'd rather do this.
Okay, that
Even
was-
though I love horses, I would rather.
Yeah, because that horse
keep
one
this
takes longer than this one. But anyway, in fact, I'd rather play Camel Up over this.
I like Camel Up. Those
And
camels
Camel
are so
Up, But
cute.
Camel Up is ranked worse than this one.
Really?
So I really wonder what's going on. Why is it more people own this game? I
Maybe
don't
there's more
know.
bicycle enthusiasts out there that have put this up.
Maybe there's something we're missing. So let us know in the
Please.
chat pod. Maybe people like this game more because they play with 3 or 4 players and it's a better 3 or 4 player experience. I don't know. But all I know is that, again, I'll show you the ranking again. This is where we're at. We're at 5.5. We'll try it with my brother over the holidays.
Right.
Maybe we'll move up. Maybe it won't. But this is Flamme Rouge. And if you get a chance, check out the how to play and the playthrough.